2024, let's go. We got a big year of sailing ahead. We've been talking about it for a little bit the last couple of videos, but now let's get stuck into the nitty gritty. Where are we going? What direction? How are we going to get there? Let's go.
Well, you guys see us chipping away at the boat work, and I'm sure you're probably wondering, what are our sailing plans for 2024? Where are we going? We keep our cards pretty close to our chest when it comes to this, because in the past when we've been quite vocal about what we're doing, it hasn't worked out. And so we just feel that it works better for us if we just hold our cards to our chest and chip away at it, and then when we're getting close to departing, then we'll let everyone know what's going on. So now's the time. I think we're feeling a bit more comfortable about our decision and what we're doing and how things are progressing. And
we can see a path, and we're on our path now, and we have our goals set for the year, and we're working towards them. And so it's time to share with that, which means our sailing plans. You know, 2023 was a big year. We sold a boat and we bought a new home, Nandji 2. And last year we did a lot of boat work, and it was really all about getting this boat ready for living, upgrading its electrical system, upgrading everything sort of living so we can survive and live off the grid.
Yeah, off the grid, Because initially it was kind of set up to be day sailed and hop between marinas. We've changed that all up, and now we're good to live off grid on the boat. So
yeah, and then this year, to the start of this year, we're getting ready to head into the boatyard within the next couple of weeks for a couple of big jobs to make this boat ocean ready.
Yeah.
So we've been able to sail it and sail it around, but we have some big jobs like replacing the rigging is a big one.
Yeah.
So then we can get it ocean ready.
Yeah.
So that leads in to the sailing plans.
This year we're going to be sailing
west
to
Africa.
It's been a long time coming, but we feel we've got the right boat and we're ready to do it now. So
we've loved being in Southeast Asia. It's a great place. Thailand is a great spot for boats. It's beautiful sailing, great cruising, and great to fix up and get your boat ready here.
Yeah.
And then it's the gateway to the Mentawai Islands, which is a place that we hold very dearly. It's just stunning, beautiful, crystal clear water, big fish, great waves.
Tropical islands.
Tropical islands, beautiful cruising. And we feel now, though, we know the area way too well, and it's time to move on.
Yeah, it's very hard to say goodbye to this area, but it's not going anywhere, and the whole point of the boat was so that we could explore and adventure.
Yeah.
And we've kind of exhausted
it, haven't we?
Yeah. So it's time to move on, and we're going to be moving more out of the tropical weather.
Yes, into something that might be a little bit cold, which I'm not really quite prepared for just yet, but that'll be further down the track, I guess. So heading west across the Indian Ocean, there is a couple of different sailing routes that generally people will take. From here we are in Phuket, Thailand, so we could make the route across the northern hemisphere.
Yep. Departing from Thailand, there is then two ways to go. One route takes you through the Red Sea and onwards to the Mediterranean. Sailors heading in this direction tend to head to Sri Lanka, the Maldives, and then on into Djibouti. The other option, if heading south around South Africa, departing once again from Thailand, the beginning of the passage is much the same, aiming for Sri Lanka and the Maldives, but then heading south towards the Seychelles Islands and clearing into East Africa in either Kenya or Tanzania. I guess we'll talk about the pros and cons of these passages. So
the northern route?
Yeah, the northern route. The pros is that the passage from Phuket over to the Maldives or Sri Lanka is apparently pretty beautiful sailing, spinnaker kind of weather. A lot of people end up motoring most of it, so it's super light winds and a really beautiful entrance into crossing an ocean, to be honest.
Being in the northern hemisphere, and this time of year you don't get a lot of big ground swells that fill up the Indian Ocean, so you don't get those big waves, big rolling waves out at sea. So the passage generally across the Sri Lanka and Maldives is like a lake with a good trade wind up your butt, blowing you straight across in a nice clear sky.
Yep.
So
you might get a squall here and there.
But
yeah, that's from reports from other sailors. We know a lot of people that have just left, and all of their passages were just
amazing.
Champagne sailing.
Yep.
So.
And so that's a bit of a pro. I guess the con by heading across the northern hemisphere, especially if you're heading directly into the Red Sea and off to the Mediterranean. As we all know, there's quite a lot of conflict in that sort of area through the Red Sea and the Suez Canal. Some might argue that it's a very safe time because of the amount of military presence in this sort of area, but because of the conflicts going on, there's also been further reports of piracy and extremist groups that are now operating out of Yemen, which are boarding ships. We don't know about yachts as of general, but you know, because of this and because of the unrest through this area and the possibility of piracy, that sort of route is off our charts.
Yeah, that one's a no-go for us.
That one's a no-go.
Another no-go is because the Maldives and Seychelles don't allow dogs, so that's just like straight off the chart for us. So.
Yep, we're sailing with Marley, and so wherever we go, because we will be spending time at sea, so when we get to our destination, the hound's got to have to do a little wee and a poo on land.
Yep. The other option in the northern hemisphere is to head from Seychelles over to Tanzania and then down the coast to South Africa from there. So that's another option of heading to South Africa.
Another option. The pros of this is you are staying quite a bit further north, so you're not getting into the southern Indian Ocean. So the weather should be a little bit nicer. You still have a lot of squalls because you're around the equator. But once again, you won't be such rough trade wind, groundswell sort of passage, which could happen further south in the Indian Ocean. A con for us about arriving into East Africa is that you're going to be stuck there for a long time.
Yeah, you need to wait for the cyclone season to end before you start heading down, and this could be 4 or 5 months in Tanzania, Kenya.
They sound beautiful countries. They're not a lot of cruising grounds. It's a lot more anchor up and leave your boat sort of travel. We're not looking to be spending 4 months in Tanzania anyway. That's
it would be cool to visit, but
I don't think that's going to be our route either.
No.
Yeah. Second way of getting across the Indian Ocean is the southern route.
A common route across the Indian Ocean for round-the-world trade wind sailors is crossing the Pacific and arriving into Darwin, Australia. The journey continues on from Darwin to Cocos Keeling Islands and across the southern Indian Ocean to Rodrigues, Mauritius and Reunion Islands.
Then there's two ways of getting to South Africa, whether you go around the top of Madagascar or you go south.
The pros about sailing below Madagascar is that it's a fast track to South Africa. You can just beeline it straight there.
Shorter distance.
Yes.
But then the cons about taking the southern route around Madagascar is that because you are spending more time at sea, the likelihood of you being caught out with the southwest low pressure systems that come around the bottom of South Africa is a whole lot higher. The thing about the Mozambique Channel is that there's the thing called the Agulhas current, and it runs up to 5 knots, and then when these low pressure systems come around the bottom of South Africa and those two collide, that strong current against strong wind, creating big standing tooling waves, you can get massive seas. This is it's rated the second dangerous waters in the world behind Cape Horn, so it's very gnarly sort of waters going around through there. So that's definitely a con by heading south. You don't want to get caught out.
Yeah, for us, we just want to try to hop and skip along as much as we can and seek shelter if we,
Absolutely. Yeah. So the other route is heading north from Reunion Island, heading around the top of Madagascar and clearing in, say, at Nosy Be, Hellville.
Yep.
Pros.
The pros of going the northern way around Madagascar is that you can hop, skip and jump a little bit more, and I guess you get to see Madagascar.
Yeah, it's a big pro. Another pro about heading north is that we're doing more cruising, as there is cruising grounds around the top of Madagascar. There's also more French territory called Mayotte, just not too far off of there. And so it's more cruising, whereas compared to the east coast of Africa when you're arriving in Tanzania, you're more stuck for a long period of time. But arriving into Mauritius, Reunion, Madagascar, you're sort of continually cruising, a bit more island hopping, the boat's always on the move. Yeah. So you're cruising a lot more rather than being stuck still. So that's a big pro about heading around the northern tip of Madagascar.
And also they are French territory, so we can stock up on breadsticks.
Oh yeah. Just going to Reunion and Mayotte, for example. Oh, yeah. The bakery treats.
I just remember how just unique it was going to New Caledonia, French territory off of Australia.
That was so
and
good.
It was just the combination of the tropical islands and the French.
It was really, it was a weird feeling,
really cool.
but it was just so good walking down the street and just getting a baguette everywhere.
Patisseries. It was great. Yeah, so we're really looking forward to this leg of the trip.
Yeah. So what's a con about heading north around the top of Madagascar?
Well, there is quite strong trade winds that blow on the top of Madagascar that get up to like 50 knots and just punch it out for days on end.
Yeah.
And then it will go calm and then it will smash it out again. So it really is about timing, getting around the top of Madagascar.
I guess there's a lot more pros going around the top than there is cons, because the con really is going south around Madagascar.
There's a few ways to cross the Indian Ocean, but this is how we are planning on doing it.
It's always a little bit different. We like to mix things up a little bit because we are starting in the northern hemisphere and we plan on crossing the Indian Ocean in the southern hemisphere. So we need to get down into the southern hemisphere. For us, we'll be leaving Thailand, heading across into the West Sumatra Islands of Indonesia, heading on down to the Mentawai archipelago. We know this journey quite well. We've done it quite a few times now. So that's our passage to get over there, and we'll be departing from the Mentawais, then head south out into the Indian Ocean and across to Mauritius Reunion Islands. Yep. The Mentawais are about 4 or 5 degrees in the southern hemisphere. So we have to head on south, get down to 10, 15 degrees and then start heading west.
Yeah, and so how long do you think this journey is?
So from the Mentawais to Reunion Island is 2,700 miles.
Yeah. So quite a long one, that one.
It's quite a long one, so it's potentially, you know, what, 20 days plus at sea.
Yeah.
When we arrive into Reunion Island, we get a 3-month visa. Yeah. Marley is allowed to enter because he had his blood work done as entering part of the EU. So he's all sweet to arrive into Reunion Island and jump straight off the boat.
Yeah, that's the main reason why we chose this route.
Yeah. Moving on from Reunion, we can do more cruising. So we'll be heading the northern tip of Madagascar.
Yep.
Pretty keen to head out, check out Madagascar?
Yeah, for sure. We'll only get 1 month visa in Madagascar, but I think that'll be enough for us to just have a check it out, see the animals.
And we might even jump over to Mayotte, you know, that French territory. And as we head down the Mozambique Channel, there is actually a couple of atolls through the channel that I spied on the maps that look pretty amazing. So I'm pretty keen to sort of check that sort of stuff out as well.
So we're going to head down the other side of Madagascar.
Head down the west coast of Madagascar.
And then pick our timing to cross the Mozambique Channel.
Yeah.
There are places to hide from weather along the coast. There's even some spots in Mozambique where you can take shelter.
Yep.
So we've
really
got all of those marked out, and
that's the passage. Basically, that's the year's sailing, arriving into Richards Bay in the start of December. Richards Bay, you know, you're starting to get pretty southern latitudes there. You're heading south, so you don't really want to get there too early because it's not summertime yet. But it's also timing it about leaving Madagascar because that's also the cyclone season. So you need to head south from Nosy Be anyway. Yep. And yeah, it's just about timing it getting into the summer months of South Africa. Yep. Not be too cold. So scared of the cold.
We will be sailing out of our tropical climate, our normal habitat.
Yeah,
we've lived in the tropics for 7 years now, so
even plus the whole idea of when we first moved into our bus was to never experience a South Australian winter again because they're so cold and so terrible. And so we haven't really had a winter for 10 years.
Yeah, and so we are going to have at least we're
going to feel a little bit of coldness because South Australia and South Africa are pretty much on the same parallel. So it's going to get cold.
But yeah, we're really looking forward to it and we can't wait.
Yeah, it's a big year ahead, and just talking about it gives us the nerves, gets us excited, gets us scared, just gives you all of those feelings. We have plans in motion now, and we have goals to set. Everything's sort of working and steamrolling towards this sort of happening in our departure date and getting out of Thailand in end of March, April. So exciting.
Yeah. Big thank you to all of our patrons who have supported our channel and everyone that subscribed and watched our videos and stuck around for our journey. Like, appreciate every one of you, and we couldn't have done it without all of you guys, so thank you so much.
We've been making YouTube videos now for 7 years, and it's through the support of you guys that we can continue to keep doing this. Our channel's slowly growing. We appreciate everyone who is watching, liking, commenting, all of those things. If you enjoy our videos and you want to help support our journey and our trip across the Indian Ocean, there's a link in the description below to sign up to our Patreon page. All your support means the world to us. For as little as $3 a month, call it buying us a coffee, buying us a beer, buying us dinner once a month, however it is. It may not seem much to you, but it'll be a lot to us, especially if multiple people do that for us. So there's a link in the description. Head over to the Patreon page and check all of that business out. Yeah, well, I hope that gets you guys excited as much as we're excited for the year ahead.
Let us know what you think, especially if you've done this passage before. We'd love to hear from you.
If you're doing it this year and you got kids, even more excited to chat.
Yes, let's hook up. There are a lot of boats this year that are doing a similar route to us, or just heading down to South Africa, like we said, just because of all the turmoil that's been happening. So there
should be a lot of boats out there this year.
Yeah.
A lot of boats.
It's a good year.
A very good year. An exciting year to be sailing. All right,
guys.
Hope you understood all that and enjoy.
Peace.
You.